What's going on, everybody? This is Derek. Today is June 6th, 2018, and just doing a quick live stream. I'm going to talk about the Mandarin Hotel fire, Mandarin Oriental Hotel fire, today in London, England. And for those of you new to the channel, what I talk about here is the language of Gematria, the practice of coding numbers into words. So the most basic methods, ordinal and the reverse order, just A through Z, 1 through 26, or flipping the alphabetic order backwards. Then you have the two reduction methods, each double-digit number reduced to a single digit. And when you understand this language, and you don't even really need to know that much about it, other than how it's structured, you begin to see that something very strange is going on in this world. So let's just type in Mandarin Oriental Hotel, the site of the fire today. And the first thing we should look at is the alphabetic order, where this phrase, Mandarin Oriental Hotel, assigning a number to each letter relative to its position in the alphabet, this sums to 228. And as I always say on my videos, whenever something big happens in the news, you have to measure to the dates that the local politicians took office, and you're always going to find something significant. Almost never has this been more true than in this case. So here we'll look at the page of Sadiq Khan and check out the date that he took office, May 9th, 2016. If you measure from that date to the date of this fire on June 6th, you find it's 2 years and 28 days. And again, using the alphabetic order, Mandarin Oriental Hotel sums to 228. There's this other cipher called Jewish Gematria, and I still claim that this is probably the most significant one. It's a much older cipher, several hundred years older than the English alphabet, and you'll see our more modern English characters are just placed at the end. Well, in this Latin order, Mandarin Oriental Hotel sums to 693. Theresa May is the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. She took office on July 13th, 2016. And if you measure instead from that date, you get exactly 693 days. And once again, Jewish Gematria, Mandarin Oriental Hotel equals 693. In trigonal gematria, one of the base mathematical ciphers, this value of Mandarin Oriental Hotel really sticks out. See here in trigonal, this sums to 1733. This is the same as the Society of Jesus in this same method, also summing to 1733. And this is a significant number to the Society of Jesus. It's the 270th prime number. The Jesuit order anniversary is September 27th, the 270th day of the year. And then their motto, for the greater glory of God, sums to 270 in the alphabetic order. So this number is special to the Society of Jesus. The Jesuits established September 27th, just so you can see the date there. And if you measure to their anniversary, you get 3 months and 21 days. That falling on September 27th, measuring from June 6th, the date of today's fire at the hotel. In Jewish Gematria, London, England equals 321. And again, this fire in the city of London, England, measuring to the Jesuit order's birthday, 3 months, 21 days. And there's a hotel fire at a hotel with matching gematria with the Society of Jesus. And if you think this is coincidence, unfortunately, you're incorrect. This is basically every major news story. I'll link to my blog down below. Check out any one of my other videos, and you will see this is how the news is crafted all the time. And this even goes further. So you see here, there's 113 days to the Jesuit order's birthday. And 113, a special number to the Scottish Rite of Freemasonry, which is rooted in the Catholic Church. Scottish equals 113. This fire occurs on the date June 6th, which is 113 in the reverse order. Using English Gematria, which is similar to the Jewish cipher, however, the current present-day English alphabet being used instead, Mandarin Oriental Hotel fire equals 1103. And again, 113 days before the Jesuit order's anniversary. Now, if you saw this story, you may have seen the detail about Robbie Williams, a British singer. He had to evacuate the Mandarin Oriental Hotel in Knightsbridge. And the first detail that's interesting here is that in the English Kabbalah, which uses every 11th letter, a cipher significant to Thelema and brought to light by Aleister Crowley, it's a significant method. And Robbie Williams equals 187. This is a very significant number. The number of chapters in the Torah. You could go on about this number. In fact, Society of Jesus equals 187 in the reverse order. Using English reduction, ancients accepted Scottish Rite of Freemasonry summing to 187. The birthdays of Donald Trump, who went to a Jesuit Fordham, and the first Jesuit Pope, Pope Francis, are 187 days apart. But anyways, Robbie Williams, 187 in the Kabbalah, and this took place in Knightsbridge. Knightsbridge, 187. That's the name of the neighborhood in London that this occurred in. Now, Robbie Williams, if we scope out his Wikipedia, we'll see he was born on February 13th, 1974. And if you measure from February 13th to the date of the fire, it's 113 days the other direction. So this 113 is very significant. Often we call it the number of deception. Dishonest equals 113. In the reverse order, not honest equals 113. Not true, 113 alphabetic order. Bullshit, 113 reverse. And this goes on. You know, you can really do this almost all day, it seems. Even the word mainstream, they call it the mainstream media. That sums to 113. So if you take the gematria of the BBC headline, and most outlets are going to code it slightly differently, but it's always going to be a significant number. And here, Mandarin Oriental fire blaze at Knightsbridge Hotel. This sums to 223 in the reduction method. This is a special number. Masonic equals 223 in the Jewish cipher. This is a number that's connected to the moon. The moon equals 223 in Hebrew. And you may remember, in London, last June, there was a fire at Grenfell Tower. Grenfell equals 223. And, you know, the BBC carries this number with them at all times. Think about it. B the second letter, C the third, 223. If you measure from the Grenfell Tower fire, that was on Donald Trump's birthday last year, notice how it's 357 days. We're talking about these numbers related to Masonry and the Jesuit order. The word Freemason in English gematria equals 357. And when I was researching this, I just came across the fact that there was another Mandarin Oriental Hotel fire back on February 9th, 2009. It says in the middle of the Lunar New Year, which I'd have to look up details on that, but this happened on the date 2/9/2009. Fire equals 29. Are you kidding me? Think about that. Look at the size of this blaze, man. This was extreme. And, you know, this is a fire that we 9/11 truthers point at and say, you know, why didn't this collapse the same way that the World Trade Center did? The World Trade Center clearly brought down by explosives, in addition to Building 7, which fell in the same fashion yet was not hit by an airplane. So what's kind of interesting, we're talking about these numbers of masonry, and I've pointed this number out several times in my work, and it just seems to hold true all the time. So Freemasonry in square numbers, another base mathematical cipher, where each number is multiplied by itself prior to adding it to the equation, Freemasonry equals 2311, the 344th prime number, 344. Ancient accepted Scottish rite of Freemasonry in reverse single reduction, or maybe it's here, it's a different one. Reverse single reduction. There we go. So this is a cipher where master numbers are not reduced. It's the reverse alphabetic order reduced except master numbers. So 11 and 22 stay the same. A cipher that's built, again, based on the rules of numerology and master numbers. Well, in this method, ancient accepted Scottish rite of Freemasonry equals 344, so you have a double connection there. All right. So anyway, if you measure from February 9th, 2009 to the date of today's fire, you get, look at that, you get 3,404 days. And, you know, Freemasonry has a lot of geometric connections to the sun. The sun equals 443, the inverse of 344. So I don't believe this to be a mistake by any means. And what I noticed was funny about this article, you know, they're talking about 9/11 research. I don't know who did this measurement. It says coming exactly 2,711 days after 9/11. No, it didn't. It was 2708. So they're either playing with numbers on you, just assuming that you're not going to come here and calculate for yourself. Because this is kind of some numerology here, right? 2 plus 7 is 9. And then you have the 11, 9/11. Pretty interesting. So the Grenfell fire was a Saturnian ritual. The Saturn comes into direct opposition with the sun, as it was on that date, every 54 weeks. This fire occurred at the 54th minute of the day. Saturn sums to 511 in Jewish Gematria. Grenfell equals 511 trigonal. And now we have a fire in the Knightsbridge neighborhood. Knightsbridge equals 511 English Gematria. So you can see with the big number ciphers how they kind of intertwine them together in these rituals. As far as this number 511 that's connected to Saturn, this sums to 51 in reduction. The Grenfell Tower fire was exactly 51 weeks before the fire here at Mandarin Oriental Hotel. And what cracks me up about this place, I mean, look at this. Let's just punch this in here. Mandarin Oriental Hotel in London. Look at the address. 66 Knightsbridge, London. 66, like today's date, June 6th, 6/6. Using prime numbers, Saturn, we were talking about this, you know, all being a Saturn ritual. Saturn equals 317 in this method, and 317 is the 66th prime number. And just more hints at this being a Masonic ritual. Masonic equals 74 ordinal and 115 reverse. We discussed the 223 a little bit earlier. And think about how wild it is. We got a fire here at the Mandarin Hotel. Mandarin equals 74. London equals 74. And as far as the 115 in reverse, this hotel is 115 years old. And think about how there was all that construction on 9/11 that was occurring in the lead up to the attacks at the World Trade Center. Well, you know, it's easy to posit that that's when the explosives would have been installed into the building. And what are the odds that this building we had a fire just weeks after a huge multi-million-pound renovation was completed. So what was going on during that renovation? You know, if this was indeed a ritual, the pawns were on the board in place to allow this to happen without a doubt. Also, too, when you're decoding these things, you got to look at the witness names that they give you in the article. So here they talk about the first person they mentioned was Penelope Evans. Penelope Evans equals 59 and 58. That's the same as London, England, 59, 58. Freemasonry, 58, 59. And of course, London, I mean, home to one of the biggest banking districts in the world, very close to Freemasonry. London, England equals 220 in the reverse order. This is the master builder number. The Freemasons consider themselves master builders. Using the alphabetic order, master builder number equals 220. And remember last year's fire at Grenfell happened on Donald Trump's birthday? Donald John Trump equals 220. Kind of interesting that Donald is 50, Penelope Evans 50. Could be coincidence. And here's another mention of Herods. I just did a post. I can't remember what it was. Herod was in the news. They keep bringing this word up. And this is, of course, a tribute to the Second Temple, Herod's Temple. And just think about it. You know, you have a Mandarin Hotel fire on February 9th, 2009 in Beijing. And now this is the second Mandarin Hotel fire. It's like the two towers, right? And the two tower symbolism, remembered by Tisha B'Av. The Jewish holiday Tisha B'Av, which sums to 9/11 in Jewish Gematria. It occurs on the 9th day of the 11th month on the Hebrew calendar. September 11th was on the 11th day of the 9th month on the Gregorian calendar, and that's when we had the two towers fall. Tisha B'Av, recalling the destruction of the two temples, Solomon's temple and Herod's temple. Herod's temple was the second temple, and now you have the second Mandarin Oriental Hotel fire, and this woman was shopping at Herod's. I mean, you gotta fucking love what they do with this symbolism. It's hilarious. And then this quote that she gave us, too, it had that 117 hoax code that I talk about. Obviously, this was a real fire. I mean, there's no hoax here, but it was a staged event, without a doubt. 117 is the value of 13 in reverse, 13 being the primary ritual code, but we just see this so often. And in the Kabbalah, just for the record, 1015, 115-year-old hotel, Masonic equals 115. So there you have it. But really, you know, once again, all you have to do is measure to the dates that the local politicians took office, and you always end up with these insane alignments. So for anyone who missed the beginning of the video, in the two most significant ciphers, or at least what I consider the most significant ciphers, the alphabetic order, 1 through 26, and then Jewish Gematria, which is based on the Latin order. This sums to 228 and 693. The fire occurred 2 years, 28 days into the term of London Mayor Sadiq Khan, and 693 days into the Prime Minister term of Theresa May. So just there you have it. News by the numbers every single day. Thanks for watching, everybody. Keep seeking and speaking that truth. Adios.